Get ready for a creative explosion. You'll be witnessing a stunning 3D mixed media masterpiece come to life on a unique canvas. A busted one. Hello all my crafty friends, I'm Donna from Mason Creations Etc. and welcome to my channel. My crafty friend Cynthia P requested a fall busted canvas. Here you go, Cynthia. This video is for you. So if you're ready, let's make a mess. To make this project, I have a flatboard canvas, a stretched canvas, and 3 sheets of coordinating rice paper. This is the picture I want to see through the busted canvas, so I'm going to decoupage it on the flat board canvas. I cut off the white edges so I could see better how the paper was laying on the canvas. I'm going to use Polyvine Heavy Duty Wood Varnish as my decoupage adhesive today, as well as my final varnish. This formula is heavily water and heat resistant, as well as food safe. All of the Polyvine varnishes can double as a decoupage adhesive, and they perform wonderfully, much better than the popular brand of decoupage glue. Polyvine is not a glue, it's a varnish, so the end results are outstanding. It greatly reduces bubbles and wrinkles and is absolutely crystal clear and won't yellow over time. Now I'll set this aside to dry for a couple of hours. This is the rice paper that I want on the front. So this will be decoupaged on the top of the stretched canvas. I want this one to blend into the canvas, so I tore all the edges of this paper to the size of the canvas. When decoupaging, a torn edge is much easier to blend than a cut edge. And the edges are easier to tear once wet, so I'm using a water brush. A water brush has a cartridge that you fill with water and then brush it on the napkin or rice paper. The water dispenses easily, so this is really convenient. You can find this in my description box below in my favorite tools section, just in case you want to check it out. And again, I'll be using Polyvine Heavy Duty Wood Varnish as my decoupage adhesive. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. I'm flipping over the stretched canvas and I'll put the third rice paper on the back. When the canvas gets cut and curled forward, this will be the paper you'll see. I'm cutting it to the exact size of the inside of this canvas. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. It's fun to see what cities and countries you are all watching from. I'm filming from Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. I'm using the same varnish to decoupage this one as well. If you start using varnish instead of glue, you'll be amazed at how much you prefer it. Glue gets thick and lumpy under your rice paper or napkin. The varnish doesn't do that. It's nice and smooth with no lumps. You put on a nice thin coat so you actually end up using less. Both of my canvases are dry now, so I'm sanding off the excess paper on the bottom of the board. If you go in a downward motion, the sandpaper shears it off nicely. Don't go upward though, you risk lifting your paper. I'm sponging light brown paint around the edges of both canvases. I'm using a sponge so the paint kind of fades into the rice paper. I added a little extra paint in all the corners for a little bit of an antique distressed look. I added a little bit of earthy brown, which is a little darker. This adds a little bit of shading. All the paints I'm using today are from Pentart. I'm sure you guys have noticed that I use a lot of Dixie Belle and Pentart paints. These are my absolute favorites. They both go on super smooth and creamy with really good coverage. I rarely, if ever, need a second coat of Pentart, and that goes for the metallic colors as well. I test all the products that I recommend in my videos. I won't recommend anything that I haven't used myself and prefer. If I'm recommending it, you can bet it's a great product. Each product will be listed in my description box below and will have a blue link to make it easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. I also painted the inside edge of the stretched canvas. Once the canvas has been cut, you'll be able to see that interior frame from the front. I let the paint dry for about 30 minutes, and now I'm giving both canvases a coat of the heavy-duty wood varnish to protect all my work. I'm getting the inside of the stretched canvas as well. Here's where all the fun starts. I'm going to start cutting the canvas. I poked a hole somewhere in the approximate center. I didn't measure for the center. These busted canvases are supposed to be abstract, so have fun and play. I started with the four corners, and now I'm just cutting the canvas all over the place and not having a care in the world where I make my cuts. I'm making some sections smaller and some bigger. After you make the cuts, you'll have a bunch of white edges. I'm rubbing over all the cuts with brown ink so they don't show. I really enjoyed making this project. It was a lot of fun. Let me know what you think. Are you going to give busting out a canvas a try? If you do, I'd love to see some pictures. You can find my email address in my description box below in case you'd like to share. Okay, let's roll out all these cut pieces. I put my picture behind the cut canvas so I could get an idea of what I was doing and what was going to show. One at a time, I'm rolling and curling them. I'm using hot glue to hold them in place. I'm rolling them in all different ways and directions. I don't want any of it to look uniform. It was an explosion, so it needs to be a great big mess. DecoupageNapkins.com has such a great selection of napkins that you can purchase one at a time. They carry many other craft supplies such as rice paper, paint, clay, molds, and a great selection of Polyvine products. Over 8,000 products and growing. They are wonderful to work with and will send your order out fast. They offer several automatic discounts when checking out. Subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address, and you'll receive 10% off your next order. They are truly your one-stop shop for craft supplies. Make sure you check them out. I'll be leaving links for all the products I use in my description box below. I'm using my hot glue gun to attach the two canvases. I put a few clips to hold it as the glue is setting. I put some medium twine where the two canvases meet. This serves two purposes. It's covering up the crack where they join, as well as creating a hanger. I put one piece covering the top section of the canvas. Then I started at the bottom and went around the perimeter, leaving an amount at the top for hanging. I'm using a craft knife to cut some little styrofoam pumpkins in half. I'm going to add some 3D elements to this project. And I have the pumpkins in 3 different sizes. I had these pumpkins painted so many colors already and kept changing my mind. These are the 3 colors that I ended up with: Pentart, yellow, red, clay, turquoise blue, and linen. All 3 are very similar to the color of the pumpkins in the rice paper. Sorry you didn't see as I was painting them, but it was a fiasco. I'm mixing the yellow red clay with Dixie Belle drop cloth. This will lighten it up and I'll use it to highlight the clay colored pumpkins. I added some water to thin it out some. I painted a stripe on the high point and then blended it with my finger. This gave the pumpkin a really nice color. I mixed some of the turquoise blue with the drop cloth and did the same thing with the blue pumpkins. I used just the drop cloth to highlight the linen pumpkins. After the paint dried, I gave all the little pumpkins a coat of heavy-duty wood varnish. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And why not share this with a friend? Thanks for doing that. I'm going to create some shadows by using an antiquing wax in the color soot. This will create shadows and define all the detail in the pumpkins. First I highlighted, so now I'm going to low light. This will make a huge difference in the 3D appearance of the pumpkins. I don't want to put it on too thick, so I'm getting a little on my brush and then wiping it on a napkin. If you put too much on, you can't take all of it away. So just put a little bit on and you can always add more if you need to. Some of it will wipe off because I have a coat of the varnish on there. Here comes the fun part. I love when it's time to put it all together. I'm gluing down all my little pumpkins and some floral elements. A lot of this was in my stash, so I have no idea where I got it all. I really like the one that looks like a corn stalk. The leaves are really stiff fabric / paper. I'm not really sure what they're made of. They don't unravel when you cut them, so you can create some smaller leaves with them. They were just too big for this project at their actual size. Send me a comment and let me know what type of project you would like to see next. I love designing projects around your requests. Just be patient with me though, I get a lot of them. I'll definitely get to yours. Sometimes it just takes me a little while. I love hearing from all of you and look forward to reading all your comments and requests. So keep them coming. I used some DOS clay to make some little stems for my little pumpkins. I scored them with a toothpick to create a little bit of texture. I set them all to the side and let them dry overnight. I mixed vintage green paint along with earthy brown for the stem color. I painted them and gave them a coat of varnish. I added some beautiful mint sparkle metallic rub on them. Once dry, I glued them to the tops of all my little pumpkins. I'm adding soot in between and around everything to create some shadows and just a little bit of grunge. This really gave the project some depth and made all the 3D elements stand out. As before, I put it on my brush and then wiped a little of it off. I added the soot and wiped as I went to take off any excess. I have this cute little raffia bow, and again, I have no clue where it came from. I found it in my drawer digging for the pumpkins, but I thought it was cute and would go great on here. Now it's time to add a little shimmer to those little pumpkins. You guys all know how much I love shimmer. I'm going to add some metallic wax rubs. I'm using aged brass on all the orange pumpkins, blue lagoon to the blue pumpkins, and white pearl to the cream colored pumpkins. When I'm doing this, I'm grabbing some of the product and then rubbing my thumb and finger together to smear it around a little bit. This prevents it from getting a big glob of product on your project. Once you put it on, you cannot remove it, so put it on delicately. You can always add more if needed. I'm just lightly rubbing it over the high areas, and this will create some beautiful shimmery highlights. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I put together a playlist of some other tutorials you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that playlist. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.